Do you have a beautiful vision for your school? If so, I hope so, then I'm going to share with you a simple process to help it come to life. Hi there, everyone. My name is Daphne Walbridge from the First Year Principal. I'm a superintendent of education, and I help new and aspiring principals thrive as conscious leaders. So I'm going to share with you a process that I discovered this year that I'm still going through right now, this process, and is really yielding incredible results in the schools I supervise and with the principals. So it's the basic plan, do, study, act. It's the framework that is used in many settings. And I'm going to use this framework to show you what I did this year. And hopefully it'll inspire you to take a version of this and implement it in your own school. So my focus this year was on helping my principals sharpen their instructional leadership lens, especially throughout this pandemic. It's been very overwhelming for them since they were inundated with a lot of managerial tasks and operational tasks related to the pandemic and other duties, of course. So to help them shift out of that framework, last summer, I decided to plan how I would unfold how I would help them this year develop that instructional leadership or hone the instructional leadership lens. And we already had in place weekly meetings just to check in with each other. And I said, since that structure was already in place, I decided to leverage those meetings to start some training. So that was the planning. So I created a theory of action stating, and I hypothesized that, if we meet every week and we slowly start to train each other and learn together and grow together, then this is going to have an impact in schools and hopefully in the classroom. So I started very small at the beginning. So what I did was I tried it out. I tried out this hypothesis, my theory, and I started with little baby steps. So because I knew that, there was still a lot of, tasks and a lot of housekeeping that needed to be shared, especially with the changes in the pandemic. But I advised them in advance of this vision I had. I let them in on the secret regularly. I kept on promoting this vision and why it was important. And what I did was I started with small steps. So started with, for example, a 3 or 4 minute video and a 5-minute talk about the video, something that was inspiring about, leadership and communication. And, so I took baby steps. I did this for about a month, and then I shared the leadership, right, to build their efficacy. I had them present something of interest to them, and then I took over again. And since August, we've been taking these baby steps, and we've been accumulating all these great resources where I store in one central grid where they can just go and click on the links and access all the resources for their own use. Okay, so that was the doing. Then I studied. And how did I study if this was having an impact? Well, I visited my schools every week, just like principals do walkthroughs in the classrooms daily. I every week did walkthroughs in the schools and visited classrooms. And I had discussions with the principals, just like the principals could have a discussion with their staff, their teachers. And we started having conversations about the content that was covered in the previous weeks during our weekly meetings and how maybe they were having an impact in their schools and things like that. So I could see the classrooms were starting to transform, practices were introduced, staff meetings were changing. So I was observing all of this. And then through the study part, I observed everything, and then I acted. So we're in the act part right now of this whole program, and in my board anyway. And what we're doing now is the principals are now creating an assessment tool for their own school to see how these weekly meetings are impacting the classroom. And also their initiatives. They've all put some initiatives into place this year, and how their initiatives are also impacting student achievement and student well-being. So what's important to realize is that when you have a vision, you start with a large a large goal, something a basic direction you're going towards, but you're not quite sure how you're going to get there. So you're going to try and you're going to have a hypothesis and you're going to plan, then you're going to try something out, then you're going to study if it works or not. And then you're going to act, and acting might be fixing it, adding more to it or removing something from it, etc. Okay, so you have to remember it's kind of like being a researcher. You're like a scientist. You're a detective. You're looking for clues, and you're always iterating. So it's really, you're always in a constant state of iteration and improvement and staying curious. So I hope this has helped you. So it's important to start small, to have, you have your grand vision, and then you take little steps, you keep adjusting, and then you move from there, okay? So once again, the framework is plan, do, study, and act. So far, it's yielding great results, and I would love to get your feedback. If you've ever tried something like this before or not, and if you're curious, make sure to post a comment down below and we can keep talking online. All right, take care and bye for now.